Our biggest month so far, I think, is about $250,000. Like, that's pretty big, yeah. Paul had to end up filtering some of the comments because people were telling me to like myself. I actually want to debunk this so badly.
Your brand's obviously super successful, Muse For Hair, but your last name is McCleary.
Yes.
I just feel like there's a missed opportunity where you could have named it Harry McCleary.
Harry McCleary from Donaldson's Dairy. That
Yes.
could have actually been a really good name, especially because like Harry McCleary has the same colour hair as me.
I know, I didn't want to say you look like the dog because that's outrageous.
And I think he's got curly hair as well, so it's really fitting today. But
Could you put hair extensions on McCleary? The dog? That is not your husband? Or?
Honestly, we've actually thought about it for content. Paul came up with the idea. He was like, we should colour match Kevin and then put hair extensions in him. I was like, it's a great idea.
Is that another revenue stream or is that just ridiculous?
Hair extensions for dogs? Oh yeah, look, it may be, but not for me and not anytime soon.
Kevin, he greeted me at the door.
Yes.
He's more like a cross, but you know how like dogs are always, they're a cross between something.
Yes.
But he's a golden doodle.
He's a golden American. That's in the American term.
Yeah,
in
but-
Australia, they call them groodles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's really fluffy, huge. He's more like a cross between like a grizzly bear.
Yes.
Because when he confronted me at the door, like really it was a confrontation. It was like, I think he's a bouncer, right? But he's not only a bouncer, he's like super popular online. He has
Yes.
more than 22,000 followers on his exclusive Instagram page.
Yeah, that's just Instagram.
Wait, did you like what? How does a dog become famous?
Yeah, so I don't know. Look, some people could call it a fluke. Some people could say consistency. But in all honesty, I have this thing where I'm really good at growing platforms. And whenever anyone asks me to do it, whether it's Muse or Kevin or KevTalk, by the way, you forgot about KevTalk.
I'm sorry.
He's got like 25K on there as well. It's all about consistency. So like you got to push past like the 25 to 30 videos of getting absolutely no views before one of your videos just like clicks, and then that gets the ball rolling. That video goes viral, then people are looking on your page at all the other stuff. So that's kind of how it happened with Kev.
Is that the secret sauce? Like if you can make a dog go viral, you can make a brand go viral.
100%. It's just consistency. But see, people get disheartened because they're like, I've done 10 videos and none of them have gone viral. I'm not getting any followers. And it's like, actually, no, it's more than that. You got to push way past that point.
Yeah, because I think I'm the same. Like I'll post 10 videos and like I'll be telling my mum, like, Mum, you better watch this 3 times, you know? And like there's no likes, no comments. And then I'm like, I suck. I'm going to stop. Do you think people are like that though? They're like me, they just give up too easy?
Yeah, people ask me all the time, especially when it comes to like Kevin, because they're like, you got this dog like a year ago and like he has more followers than Muse, which he does. But they're like, how do you do this? Like how do you grow a platform like this? And it's literally getting past that like fear of failure or my stuff's not good, no one's watching it, it's boring, and just like consistently posting. That's what Instagram and TikTok are like. They reward you almost.
Do you feel like, because there are lots of people that start in side hustles and then like someone wants to be an entrepreneur or someone that had been in business, right? Even like construction for maybe 30 years. Do you feel like every entrepreneur in 2025 kind of has to be a content creator as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially because you've got Gen Z now who are out and
They're out.
They're out. What's the word I'm looking for? They're growing. They're
You're
growing
right,
up.
yeah, released
They're on
from
social media.
school.
They're released from school, right? They're on socials. They see through the crap. They're super skeptical. They don't want to be sold to. Like, you got to be different. And the biggest way to do that and the best way to do that is through your platforms like TikTok and Instagram. And it's not the super polished content anymore. No one wants that. They want, like,
it's
real,
authenticity, right?
Raw, authentic, yeah. So.
All right, you're about to see some really raw, maybe too transparent content from me. Here's me in the shower just thinking about content.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Before I get to Muse For Hair, because that's obviously like your big thing right now, I imagine. Obviously dog, no disrespect to the dog. But you started 6 other businesses before Muse For Hair?
Yeah.
Can we just like rapid fire like what they are? Do you still have any on the go?
I don't. I've thought about... Actually, I wouldn't even make it a business. One of them I really miss. I used to paint Bibles, believe it or not. And that was also a very, very viral TikTok business that I had. I think I grew it to 55,000 in like 2 months or something like that.
Oh, you're like a viral queen.
just know what the
You
people want to
take it,
see.
you're like, you see a dog and then like, Bible covers and you're like,
My brain
viral.
starts. My brain starts.
I would see that and go, well, I don't want to say boring to the Bible, but you know what I mean? You'd be like,
Yes.
well, that's for church.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But that's like the whole misconception, in my opinion. I'm like, mate, I used to think that as well, but I was like, how can I make this into something that's like, you actually want to pick it up and you want to read it? And so I started doing these Bibles. It started off with one video. I made a Bible for my friend and it was so bad, but I painted on this Bible, painted her name on it, and then I got tabs for like anxiety, depression, faith, anything you needed encouragement for, and I tabbed it all in there. And people were like, that's the best idea ever. And I was like, why has no one done this? Like actually made it a thing, like tabbing Bibles and painting them and stuff. And so I did it. And besides the fact that I absolutely loved it because I love painting, I made a lot of money from it.
Really? Do you feel like you've got like, is it like this is like it's like talent versus hard work? When it comes to like just creating viral content in businesses, is this just like, I was born with it? What's that brand? What's that? Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah. Is that? Are you that ad, or are you just like pure hard work and like analytics?
I think a bit of both, to be honest. I definitely think I was born with it to a degree. I was like 16 years old and I was making things out of my bedroom and like selling them to people. Like selling, I was making these highlighters. I used to make like skincare highlighters and I was selling them to people at school, on MSN, like you name it, like wherever. Yeah, like it's always been, yeah. If you ask my parents, they're always like, oh my gosh, yeah, Stephanie, like from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And I think from that, then I kind of like learnt what works, what doesn't, and you just apply it to the next idea.
True, because people would have seen you on Shark Tank Australia and been like, oh, look at this. She like stumbled across gold or whatever. But you're like, I think there's a saying where it's like it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're, 16 in your bedroom, like making these businesses.
Yeah.
And people didn't see that.
No.
They just see you appear on Shark Tank and like, oh, who's this girl? You know?
If people knew, I did like DIY nails, I did the painting, I did teeth whitening, I had a makeup business for 10 years, then I had a cosmetics brand for 5 years. I've had so many different things. And not to say that any of them necessarily failed, but I just knew they weren't like the one that was going to grab, And I wasn't even sure about that with Muse, but it did.
Yeah, definitely grabbed. Well, so with Muse For Hair, what sparked that idea?
That's a great question. And it's a story I actually love to tell. So before I married my husband, Paul, I was spending anywhere from like $4,000 to $5,000 a year on my hair extensions. I've worn hair extensions for 11 years.
Oh, no wonder you started that painting Bible business. Just to fund
I needed something to pay off, right?
Yeah. What motivates you? The salon.
Let me tell you something. This hair, not mine. Yeah. But so I always loved hair extensions. And then I married Paul and we were just discussing like finances one day and he was like, what about like, your nails or like your hair? And I was like, it's like, how much do you spend on that? And I told him, and I think he went like 5 different shades of like white, just gradually, and he was like, absolutely not, like, we can't do that. Like, we have to budget. We want to buy a house. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, my hair is my crown. Like, I'm sorry, this is like the one thing I can't do. And then that kind of like got the ball rolling for us. We've both always been like, always been very business minded, but so is Paul. And we were like, okay, so like, let's like figure it out. So originally what I did was I went and got qualified in installing hair extensions professionally, because you used to only be able to wear semi-permanent hair extensions, which is what Muse is, if you got them done professionally at a salon. So what I was doing, which was that $4,000 to $5,000 a year, you have to go back every month. They take them out, they put them back in. You can't do it yourself, right? So I went and got qualified in that, and I had my own little business going, and it was doing so well. But even with the clients that were coming to me, they would say the same thing that I would say. I'm like, oh, I know I probably should be spending my money elsewhere, but like my hair is everything, it's my confidence. And so with that, I was like, we were having like a lot of discussions, and we were like, let's figure out something. So, and I don't know how into this story you want me to go.
Oh, just take it wherever you want.
Take it wherever I want.
Yeah, these cameras can record for a while.
Okay. Well, basically, one day we were scrolling on TikTok, as you do, one Saturday night, and this lady popped up, and she was gluing hair extensions into her hair. She was an American lady. she was DIYing this thing. This video had gone viral, mind you. And I looked at it and I was like, I mean, her hair, she might end up bald for all I know. She could be bald right now.
I'm picturing like a glue gun and like, you know, just
Quite
lift
literally.
over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I don't know what she was using as the... We'll just wait for the copy machine.
Oh, you're right. I see you've got the robo vacuum too. Like everything's just going to turn on. Yeah. No.
Tell us your time poor without telling us.
Yeah. I'm like, everything's automated. I'm like, oh, are you
True,
real?
my life is automated. No, apparently not to TikTok.
Sorry?
There's people on TikTok that think I'm AI generated.
Oh, really?
Quite literally.
Why do they think that?
One of our videos from Shark Tank went viral and the video uploaded and for some reason the audio slightly separated from my mouth and they were like, this is fake, this whole Shark Tank thing, not real, like she's AI generated. Like it was hilarious, honestly.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you look.
hilarious.
It could be a compliment, you know, if someone's like, you look AI generated, because AI generation usually generates like good-looking people. You know, it's like
I'll take it.
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. If someone said I was AI generated, I would take that as the most flattering. You know, I'm like, damn straight, I'm AI generated. Oh, sorry. So back to your story. Yeah.
So yeah, she was gluing these hair extensions into her hair, and I was like, that's actually amazing. Why has no one done that? Like, because she was saying that they were lasting 4 weeks and then she had this special oil that she would use to take them out. And I was like, that's a really good idea. And so basically I approached manufacturers and I was like, here's what I want to do. Blah, 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 blah. Told them the idea, told them how I want it to work. And they were like, nice. Not with us. Unless you have like 50K to put down or something like that. Like, I'm sorry, like we can't just start making a prototype because you have a dream.
Oh, really?
Like,
so they kind of, what were they just saying like, hey, we need you to buy like 1,000 of these, or because you're after like one prototype, right?
Yeah. I didn't even know if it worked at that point.
Okay, yeah.
I was like just experimenting here and there. I started getting in touch with like adhesive manufacturers and telling them what I needed and what I wanted and stuff like that. I got rejected from every single one of them. Every single one of them. But there was one lady, her name was Laura. Shout out to Laura, even though I'm not with Laura anymore. We don't use her anymore. Okay. And she was like, really great idea. But she was like, no. And then maybe 2 weeks later, she contacted me and she was like, hey, I just wanted to check in. Like, did you ever find someone that would, you know, bring your idea to life? And I was like, no, but I'm still messaging people. I think at that time, like, I'm super stubborn. If someone's like, no, I don't think you can do that. I'm like, game on, like, let's do it.
Right, it ignites like a fire.
100%.
Yeah, you're like, no, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm going to channel this, maybe not frustration, but you know, like just triggers this persistence and you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Consistent mode.
Super cringe, but like if someone's like, you can't, I'm like, let me show you why I can.
Okay.
So my parents will, I can just see them like rolling their eyes at that. But yeah, she was like, so you haven't found anyone? I was like, no, I haven't found anyone that will take on the idea. And she was like, give me a day. I'm going to ask my boss. I'm going to talk to my boss. She comes back the next day. She's like, we'll do it. We'll make you a prototype. Like you need to give us at least like maybe like $5,000 at least. Can you commit to that? And at that time, me and Paul had just gotten married. We didn't have like any savings to our name. And we were like, well, like if we want to do this, like we actually have to just like trust and believe that like it's going to work out exactly the way.
I know. And that $5,000 is taken out from your hair salon account probably.
Yeah.
You're like,
honestly,
well,
I think we only, that was our savings. That's all we had.
it's
like,
a rough conversation to have with like, because he's just become your husband.
Correct,
So you're like, and he's like, okay, I've got a wife. And then you're going up to him being like, hey, can I have $5K for some taped on here?
Well, the best part about it is, and this is where I'm like, thank God, this is how you know you married the right person, is that firstly, he was like, absolutely anything that stops you from spending that money, like let's invent it, let's do it, like whatever we need to do.
Okay, great. Okay, cool.
But he was also like, he's also always been very much like, no, like if you actually think this is going to work, then like I back you 100%. I'm grateful for that because there's moments where I'm like super doubtful, like in my mind, like, oh my gosh, am I taking a massive risk here? And he's that like person that's like, no, boom.
I did wonder because Paul, your husband, he's like, is he with you? Is he like an employee, co-founder?
He's a co-founder.
Okay.
He's the director of the company. He's the numbers guy. Like anything to do with like numbers and figures and stuff like that. He is the brain behind that.
Do you think it's enriching or challenging running a business with your partner? Because where do you stop where you're like, okay, now you're my husband and now you're my, and now you're my business partner?
That is honestly such a good question. And the answer is actually both. Because we are still navigating this ourselves. Our business is about 18 months old at the moment. And it gets hard. Like, where do I draw the line? What, 5 p.m. you become my husband? Like, no, it just doesn't work like that. There's nights we would be on the lounge till like 1 a.m., especially when we first launched. And we're like fighting about how much we can actually budget for the marketing this month. Or I don't think we should do that. I do think we should do that. Like, there's definitely moments where you clash heads. But what we've learned, I guess, is like, okay, cool, Stephanie, you are like the creative mind. Paul, you're everything to do with the numbers. Like, if Paul decides we're spending this much on marketing, it's done. If Steph decides we're changing the branding to this, like, it's done.
That's cool. So you guys have kind of figured out like different departments.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I'm head of creativity and you're head of finances.
Yeah.
And that's just how we do it.
Trust me, you wouldn't want Paul head of creativity.
Okay.
The man is good at everything, but I mean, he's probably not the best at designing pink hair extension boxes and all
True,
the rest.
that's fair. I don't think any male maybe has that
exactly.
skill set. With hair, and I am just so new, so I'm dumb, right? Just when it comes to hair extensions. Help me understand this.
Yes.
Where do you source your hair from? Because from my understanding, it's like real human hair. Mm-hmm. Where are you getting that from?
Yeah, so all hair extensions are manufactured in China. Anyone that tells you they're not is lying to you, because that's where they're the biggest distributors in the whole entire world. Everything. Even hair, let's say that comes from someone in Russia, it still then gets exported to China, and the product's always made in China.
But where are they? Where are the Chinese people getting the hair from?
Donors.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. So people grow their hair, and it was really cool. Actually, last year we went to China and we actually got to meet people. We met all of our factories. We also got to meet people who had donated their hair, and they make money off it. So they literally grow their hair. They eat the right fruits and vegetables, and they take super good care of their hair, and then they cut it off and donate it.
Could you do a policy, right, where it's like, hey, if you donate your own hair, we'll give you a 20% discount?
Honestly, it's like not a bad idea.
Well, I'm happy to be a business
Do we need
partner.
to employ you next?
I can be part of the department team. I mean, the creative team. I did wonder, when you officially launched, so you've got your prototype, you've gone to China, gotten the real hair. What have you done? Just shaved your own hair, maybe just to start.
Honestly, from the stress, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're like, oh, here's some spare hair. I'll just scoop this up and turn it into a hair extension. But you sold out 3 times when you launched. Mm-hmm. How did you react to that? Because it would have been like, I've worked so hard to get here.
Yeah, it was honestly like very surreal. And I say that in the way that we were like, I think maybe 2 weeks before we launched was when I posted the first video, and I was like, this is my product, like, this is how it works, blah, 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 blah. And that first video we ever did went viral, which we weren't expecting anyway. So by the time it actually came to launching our product, the amount of people we had on our wait list was like going to sell out the product anyway. And we were like, well, surely not all those people are going to buy it, right? They would have just been people that put down their emails, they saw the video, whatnot.
Yeah. Got carried away one night. They're like, oh, this is so viral. Yeah, let me sign up. They were drunk.
Who knows? Maybe they'd shaved their head.
Yeah, exactly. They had a Britney Spears moment. They're like, oh, God.
Yeah,
Steph,
exactly.
help me. Yeah, sure.
And so the morning we actually launched, we launched the website, and you can see on Shopify how many people are going on your website. It makes this really cool cha-ching noise every time you get a sale. I love it. Yeah. It was so surreal for us, right? And so we're watching all these people enter our website, and we're like, oh my gosh. And Paul's like, the website's acting really weird.
Oh, it's crashing.
I think it's going to crash. And then it did. And we just sat there.
Did you celebrate?
We did. I actually got it on video. We're like high-fiving. And then like within like 5 minutes of the video, we're like trying to type everything. Paul's trying to contact like Shopify staff. We're like, what do? We don't actually know how to do this. We don't know what the heck we're doing.
Shopify's like, oh, we don't expect people to actually do well this soon.
Oh, Shopify's like, we don't give a crap. Like, that sounds like a you problem to us.
Yeah, they're like, we don't care. You gave us money. We're done.
Exactly. But eventually the site ended up getting back up and running. We sold out that time, and I literally straight away put the money into just stock. My next thing, I put all my money into stock. We got that stock. Say that again. Like
crypto? Or do you mean like actual hair
stock,
extension
as in
stock?
Physical hair extension stock.
Well, I don't know. I know your husband's into finance. He's like, let's put this into Tesla. You're like, what?
Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But we got that next batch of stock. So basically we went back to like a wait list on our website, got that next batch of stock, that sold out even quicker. And we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So we're like, let's open up pre-orders, which was like the worst thing we ever did being a new business, a new brand, because our pre-orders went absolutely nuts. Our supplier couldn't deal with that kind of like demand. So that meant that there was a delay on everything. And then you had people being like, well, this brand, look, they're new. They must be a scam. I haven't gotten my
Oh no, she's
pre-order."
AI generated.
She's AI generated. But like people,
My formal's coming up tomorrow and I haven't got it.
a lot of people don't know what a
stress.
pre-order was either. So
Yeah.
on our website, it literally said pre-order 4 to 6 weeks. And then people would message them, but I still haven't gotten my order. And I'm like, you ordered 3 days ago.
Yeah, do you know how language works? Yeah, that's really sassy. I can't be part of your customer service team.
Oh my gosh. I filmed this really funny video. I so badly want to post it. It's what I really want to say to customers. And I like typed up all this stuff.
Get
And I was
stuffed.
like, I would get slammed if I posted this, but it is low-key so tempting.
Yeah, maybe
it's
just show
funny.
me after.
You'll love it.
What are the main reasons for people getting hair extensions? Because it's not just like, oh, I want to have hair that hits the floor and I want to look like a homeschooler. Yeah. I'm a homeschooler. Oh, it was a homeschooler, so I can say that. Okay.
Did they never get haircuts?
Yeah, I think they're almost like a little cultish. You know, it's like, oh,
Like an Amish.
Exactly.
Wait, I don't know if that would rub someone the wrong way.
No, you said it. No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people are like, oh, I just want like 3 meters of hair.
Yeah.
Or is it like hair loss? And like, who's your demographic?
Yeah. So the coolest part about hair extensions is that we literally appeal to so many different demographics. We're the college student that doesn't have a crap ton of money to spend on her hair. We're the busy mum who's like, I don't have 3 hours to go and sit in a salon and wait for someone to sew in my weft. It's the postpartum mum whose hair's thinning and falling out. It's the bride who just wants thicker, fuller hair on her wedding day. It is literally every single woman at some point in their life.
Do you have any guys?
We have had a lot of big male influencers approach us.
Like C-Bum?
I don't know those.
Okay. I was thinking like Joe Rogan.
If only.
But
Joe Rogan.
what? So but they already have long hair, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we actually haven't like worked with any yet. We get so many like thousands of orders. I don't even look at the names.
Oh, true.
Or
You're not
I'm
going like,
tagging
hey,
them.
what's your what's
Yeah.
the makeup of like, what's your gender, what's your sexuality? It's like, well, what's going on?
It's not ASL. Do you remember that?
No.
Wait, how old are you?
30.
Oh yeah, ASL, like when you would ask someone age, sex, location.
Oh, yeah, my bad. So
You don't
I suck with
remember
acronyms.
Oh my god.
Acronyms sounds
Wait, you were
like-
homeschooled, did it
Yeah,
explain?
that's actually my out. I'm like, oh, I'm from New Zealand and I'm homeschooled. Like the layers of isolation that I went through. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, ASL was like when you wanted to flirt with someone, like you added on MSN or Instagram.
yeah.
Not Instagram, that wasn't around then. You'd be like ASL question mark, and then they'd like age, sex, location.
Yeah, no, homeschoolers don't flirt.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
cool.
hey, what's curriculum are you following? You know what I mean? It's like super sexy like that. Or like, what's your
That
favorite
is the best
psalms?
thing I've ever heard. That is hilarious.
Do you reckon? Be honest with me, because there are a lot of guys like me, right? Balding,
Okay.
and we're thinking, oh, Turkey, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
Could we go Muse For Hair?
Look, there's actually, I've seen someone else doing something similar for guys.
Oh, yes.
Where they almost glue, it's a liquid glue though. They like glue on these like toupee looking things. They look really, really good.
But is there any way that I could like just tape on your hair? Like, could you, like if in an emergency setting where I'm like, I've got a Valentine's date,
Yeah.
I need more locks, right? Because I
Yeah.
really need to put my best foot forward. Could you do it?
Not with Muse, because Muse is like strips, like these long strips of hair. So you would just look like, do you know what? It actually would work, but you would be able to see it because the way that Muse works is that your actual hair covers the tape.
True. Okay, so but what if we did it and then I put a hat on?
Yeah,
Is
you'd be
that
fine.
good?
You'd be
Oh
fine.
my God, yes. Okay, we're
You'd
doing
be
that
fine.
after. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a stigma around hair extensions? Because in my like naive, ignorant homeschooler brain, I'm like, oh, when I first heard of hair extensions, I was like, oh, that's not real hair.
Yeah.
I don't want to like offend you, but do people see it as like, oh, it's tacky, it's not real?
100%. You should see people on our Instagram. You just want to go have a browse at our Instagram and TikTok videos. People are like, I grow my own. I don't need that. Like, that looks terrible and things like that. I was like, cool, Sally. I'm glad that you can grow your own. But there's also people with like autoimmune diseases who have lost all their hair that can't grow their own. So hair extensions for those people are like life-changing, you know? But absolutely, like with anything that's like, I guess, artificial or whatever you want to call it, people like label it as like, oh, that's fake. Why can't you just be yourself? And it's like, because I'm bald. Like, you know, like it's
That's
different.
what I say to people. They're like, why are you at a hair salon getting hair extensions? I'm like, I'm bald, you idiot.
Yeah, like people fail to realize that some people don't just want it to have like a 28-inch weave that like that flows in the wind. Like some people actually need it. There's people that hair doesn't grow naturally nice and long.
Oh yeah, my auntie, she has some sort of hair condition where like her hair doesn't grow anymore.
Yeah.
And so she's like, this is it. Because
Yeah,
I'm always
exactly.
like, I always think that she's like constantly going to the hairdressers. Like,
Yeah.
how do you keep it so short? Like I'm flat, like I'm complimenting her. And she's like,
She's like,
Tries.
I have a condition.
yeah, she's like, it's called, and it's like some long name I can never remember.
Yeah.
But so back to popularity,
Yes.
it's doing so well. I don't know if you talk money, but I was kind of curious about like what's like your biggest month or?
Our biggest month so far, I think, is about $250,000 in sales.
That's insane, right?
Yeah, for a business, like we've only been around for like, we just had our first birthday a couple months ago. Like that's pretty big, yeah.
That's so 250,000 a month. Has that like changed your mentality? Like, has it changed your lifestyle in any way? Like, are you walking around in like gold Crocs?
I wish.
Or do you, this is a serious question. Do you think that it's changed your mentality around money in terms of, oh, money's more achievable than I thought? Because I'm like deeply middle class, right? And so I'm like, the idea of like having so many figures before the comma or the, you know, it's like, that's absurd to me. Has it changed you, like your mindset about it?
Not at all. And like, I actually want to debunk this so badly is because so many people have like said to me and Paul separately, wow, you guys must be like rolling in it. Like you must be rich. And me and Paul only have just started taking a very small wage from the business. Everything that goes into the business, like every dollar we make from the business goes back into the business. And what people fail to recognize, and this was like a problem with Shark Tank, is Shark Tank, they asked us, okay, what do you buy your product for? What do you sell it for? And people are like, wow, you guys must be making so much money. It's like, actually, no, you're forgetting that we pay Shopify a lot of money. Our stock is a high ticket. It's a high ticket item. It costs us a lot. You've got taxes, import tax, your BAS statements, your GST. Like you are constantly paying money. So yeah, we're making $250,000 in sales every month. Yeah, great, awesome. That's not going into our pockets by any means. Like the fees are hectic. PayPal fees, Afterpay takes a very high percentage of every single sale. Like these are the things that people don't actually realize come along with owning a business. They just think like, oh, you made that much money. Okay, then you must have that much money in your savings.
Yeah, exactly. Because pulling up here, I was like, okay, we're going to see like a mini runway to an aeroplane. You know, just like, this is insane. Obviously, there are no helicopters outside.
There's no helicopters.
But yeah, that makes sense. I guess like they don't think about the margin. They just see like the top revenue figure and go, oh, they're just really wealthy.
Yep.
What would you say? Because it seems, I think from one angle, people go, okay, she looks AI generated. She's got a successful dog, even good company. But do you suffer any like setbacks or like, do you have any big challenges at the moment that you're like, people don't get it? Like,
Oh my
some things are really
gosh.
hard.
Ask my husband. I reckon I like have a breakdown at least twice a week. I've always been someone that like I've really struggled with like fear of man. I don't like when people don't like my product. I don't like, you know, if we get customer complaints. Like I've definitely gotten better from when we first launched, but I've always just really struggled with like people being mean. And like my face is all over the internet. So people are mean to me 24/7, no filter. People would just go ham on me, especially when we first launched. I mean, like Paul had to end up filtering some of the comments because people were telling me to like myself, especially like people in the industry. Yeah. It was
in the industry, like hair salon owners being like,
oh yeah, well you got to think about it. We are kind of disrupting the whole industry because no longer do people have to go and spend that much money. They can buy our product.
Does it really get to you? Like, because those comments can come through and some people might think, oh, just ignore it. Is it?
I've definitely gotten better. I have days. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, now I'm like totally like fine. You can say whatever to me and I'm completely fine. That's not real. I definitely have days. I have moments where I'm like, wow, that actually hurt. Or like, that was actually, that was something I already felt and now this person's called it out. So maybe it's true. But, you know, just because someone thinks something like doesn't make it true.
Yeah. Take all your rage out on like painting a Bible. You know, you need an outlet, right?
Don't tempt me.
Get the Bible out right now.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, true. Are you worried about copycats?
It's already happened.
What do you do with it? Do you call them up and saying like, hey?
Well,
You're AI generated.
the cool thing about Muse is because we were the first in Australia, people see DIY hair extension kits and they're like, Muse for Hair.
Right.
Our customers are so loyal and funny. We would get people forward us videos from other brands and be like, they copied you. You need to patent this. Like you need to do something about this. And it's like copycats are going to come and go, but being first in the market, like first to market, that is your upper hand. People are seeing other brands and be like, oh, they just copied Muse, you know. So
True, because it is like the Oodie. They have so many copycats. But you do get the sense of like, there's like, oh no, the Oodie is the premium, and like Crocs even.
Yep.
People always ask you like, oh, are they real or not?
Yeah.
That's kind of the, you know, do you have the Temu version or do you have Muse for Hair?
I call them frocks when they're fake Crocs.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Yeah. Hey, didn't the founder, I think his name's Davey
Fogarty. Yep.
Yes. So, just because I want to jump to Shark Tank just to sort of like, you know, bring this to a bit of a close. But how nervous were you to appear on Shark Tank? Because you and Paul delivered like a pretty crisp business pitch.
Yeah.
Did you rehearse it a lot?
Did we rehearse it a lot? I mean, as in like 24/7, we would be in the bathroom brushing our teeth and be like, hi Sharks, my name is Steph and my name is Paul. We would lay in bed at night and pitch black, both of us, and just be like rehearsing it and everything like that. We didn't know what questions they were going to ask us. Yeah. So we had like our friends sit in front of us and be like, okay, just ask us any questions that you could think of that they might ask us. And we practiced so much. We filmed it 1 billion times. Like what people don't know about Shark Tank is there's actually a lot of prep that goes into it before, and a lot of things you have to do before you're actually in that studio.
Oh, so yeah, just like a peek behind the scenes. But are they? Because we see like maybe 10 like entrepreneurs go up like per
6
episode.
minutes.
Yeah, really quick, and you're like, and they're all pretty good. They're either like awesome, like yours, right, or they're like so funny and cringe. It's great.
Yes.
Do they have like a pre-audition where there are like actually more entrepreneurs behind the scenes? Do they have that?
You apply online. I think they got a couple thousand entries. Over, I don't know, maybe like 5,000 entries this season or something crazy like that. You fill out a questionnaire online. Then if they like your idea, they call you. Then you have like a Zoom interview with them. Then they're like, okay, send us like a practice pitch, like, you know.
Really?
So we can
actually
see how you are,
it.
like on TV and stuff.
Oh, so it's more than, they're actually caring about like, hey, what's your like, do you have a face for TV, like in like a presentation?
Totally.
They don't
want a squid on TV. Like they want you to be able to go on there.
Squid.
I don't know. That's the first word that came to my mind.
Yeah. What's an ugly animal?
Like,
cool.
a squid. Well, no, I didn't mean in the ugly way. I meant as in like they don't want you to just go on there and be like,
sorry.
like, you know,
just like really
don't know
dumb.
if a squid does that. But
yeah,
anyway.
just like a brick of a person.
Yeah, I think they need it to be engaging. At the end of the day, like Shark Tank, the TV show, is there for entertainment, right? So they are there. They want people that they're like, you're entertaining to watch, like. Whether it's your idea or whatnot, they want something that's going to be engaging for their viewers.
The Oodie founder, Davey.
Yeah.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but did he give you $200,000 in investment for 20% of the company?
So we actually got Davey Fogarty and Robert Herkovich. And originally what happened was Davey said to us, and this is definitely in the episode. I was like, because there was so much that they cut out. You're in there for 45 minutes to an hour. So there's like so much that happens that's not on TV.
True.
But he originally offered us $200,000 for 20% of the business. And Robbie was like, well, whoever you choose, like I want to be on board with them. So we obviously chose Davey. So Davey did 10% for 100,000 and Robbie did 10% for 100,000. But we actually haven't signed off with them yet. We're still in like negotiations and due diligence.
Oh, so it's actually not official. Because I have been talking to like my friends about this, like about you and like that sort of like arrangement. And I'm thinking, if you're making 250K a month, like hypothetically, if that's like your biggest month, and they're saying, hey, we want 10% of the business for 100K, is it worth it?
Exactly. So like what we're trying to figure out right now is like, we're just kind of in that negotiating phase of figuring out like, is this going to be right for us? Like maybe we can try and renegotiate a couple things. Davey's super busy at the moment. So is Robbie. Obviously they've got their own crazy hectic lives. So things have been put on a little bit of like a pause. We moved from Melbourne to Perth. So there's still a lot, it's still a lot in the works. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It almost feels like it's, when you're like in a relationship with someone during high school and you're like, how do I dump this person? Obviously it's not like that, but when you're like, we might need to change the agreement a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like you just said, we don't need an angel investor. Like we we
No.
we going on to the show, we were like, we didn't, even at the time, we're like, we don't need the money. We need like the
Exposure?
mentorship.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the mentorship,
Yeah,
of course.
because there's so many things that we're like, cool, like we've grown this big, like I don't know what to do next. And that's where like Davey especially has been an absolute game changer.
Right, cool. Yeah, because maybe with Davey, you're like, hey, maybe we change out the 10% ownership and we just video call every now and then. And, maybe we just go out for coffee or
I don't know how
something.
he'll feel about that.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm
hang
pretty
on.
sure he's like, hang on a second. Like,
Okay, last 2 questions because I feel like I've taken up a lot of your time.
you're fine.
You're making $250K a month. What advice would you give a young entrepreneur who's like, I would like to make $250K?
That's a good question. Don't try reinvent the wheel. That'd be my first thing. Find a product that you know that there is like a need for it, but don't feel like you have to invent something because you're going to make things very hard for yourself, very expensive for yourself. Find something that you know there might be like a cult following over, or something that is used every single day, just something easy, something lightweight, something that's not going to break in shipping and things like that. Like actually think about your product before you're just like, I really love
Money.
Sorry. I was going to say, I really love hairbrushes, but the hairbrush you love like weighs 3 kilos and you want it to have like specific bristles on it. Like you're making stuff really hard for yourself. Don't try and reinvent the wheel.
Oh, you really care about like shipping. That's like a fact. You know what I mean? Like you talked about, like, is it easy to ship? Is it lightweight?
What people don't think about is
break?
like, is it going to break in shipping? Because then you're going to be losing money. Your customer's going to be upset. You're going to be paying a lot more if you want to insure it, or like people don't think about the logistics side of things. Like it's very much.
Oh,
like
there's no
brushed
way.
over.
People are thinking like, is this cool? How much money do I get? And can I make TikToks about it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Absolutely not. Like even hair extensions has been like really challenging. There's so many different like parts to it. Now I love Muse. I'm very passionate about it because I am my own customer, right? But there are so many elements to it where I'm like, oh, like if I had another idea, how would I make this different? Like knowing what I know now, how would I make it different? And I'm like, hey, I don't want to do like color matching things or like have the customer have to really think about, what shade to choose and things like that. Just a simple product. And then before you go and spend thousands of dollars on inventory, because most manufacturers have a minimum order quantity, see if there actually is demand for that product. See if people are looking for that product presented differently.
I feel like what scares people from doing this, and this is kind of like I'm tapping into my brain a little bit here, is like you almost don't want to do the market research because you don't want to be proven wrong. It's like, oh, there's no demand for it, or you share it with your friend, and your friend's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're like, I just want to make it, and then be blind to the truth.
There's 2 things I always tell people. Don't get attached to a name, number 1, because you don't know if that name's been trademarked or anything like that. Number 2, don't get attached to an idea. Even Davey Fogarty, for example, he had so many different businesses. People don't even realize that, the guy has done 850 million, or I think it's more than that, in e-commerce sales now. But he had so many different businesses, so many different items that he tried to sell that did not catch. So like you can't get attached to something just because you think it's good. Okay, well maybe like the majority of the population don't agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe there's not a need for it.
Yeah, totally. Because you think of Davey and you just think, oh, he's the Udi guy.
He's the Udi guy.
He struck gold. It's so true. People just don't know the backstory.
Yeah, and you know how you were saying like Udi and Crocs before when you were talking. Yeah. That's the thing. Udi is just the brand. Crocs is just the brand. Those, whatever you want to call them, pajama dresses or whatever, because Davey was the first to market, we all just know them as Udi. But Udi is the name that Davey just decided.
Oh my God, you're right. This is like, you're like tapping into like the power of marketing here. Because it's like, it's kind of like, there's a toilet paper brand and I think it's called No One Gives a Crap or something.
Yes, I have seen that.
But it's like, they haven't definitely not reinvented the wheel.
No.
It's almost literally like a paper wheel.
Exactly.
And they've just marketed it, and obviously they changed a few things, maybe it's more ethical, but I don't know. If toilet paper is unethical, but you know what I mean? Like maybe they've done something and it's like, now I'm like, I want that like trendy young people's toilet paper.
It's all about how you market something, right? Like I could market a box of matches to you, but I could just make it really cool. Like this one, you have like Donald Trump's face on the front with like his hair in flames, or like just something to make it different and unique. Like you don't need to invent
my God,
something.
you're right. You could just make any business and make it go viral. I'm already getting there.
Absolutely. Like you won't
I might steal that idea. You haven't like
Go for
done it. Thanks. I need
I
some
have
money.
a little book with all the things I'm like, oh, I just like laying in bed and I'm like, that could be cool. That could be cool.
Last question. Have you got any other business ideas?
I do. I have something coming. Obviously, Kevin is the superstar in my life. And
You gonna buy a cat or something?
I'm actually really allergic to cats. I'm actually really allergic to dogs too. That's why I had to get something that was crossed with a poodle.
Right. You're like, if you weren't bringing in so much money, you're kind of...
Look, honestly, Kev is doing really, really well. But yes, I do have something else. I really hope to be launching it at some point.
Can you give us any idea, or is it just top secret?
No, it's actually gonna. It's a dog product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people love their dogs, you know, me included.
A shock collar?
Oh my goodness! I hope not.
I don't know. You just gave me the category, and I was like, what would Steph do? No.
Well, like think about Kevin, right? People love the way that he looks visually, and I'm like, I can turn that into
No
revenue.
way. So you are doing hair extensions for dogs?
Maybe.
Oh my God, I'm on to you. Okay. I think that's a wrap, man. Thank you so much for letting me in your house.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for having me. Like I love being on things like this. It's fun.
Cool. Good luck.